My name is Charles Pratt, and I'm the curator of No Quarter. No Quarter is an exhibition that's put on every year by the NYU Game Center, where we commission and display new work by different talented, up-and-coming independent game developers. They're all really interesting designs. They're all taking the sort of one constraint of No Quarter, which is you make a game for a social space, like an arcade or a gallery, and you design something specifically for that space, and all of them fulfill that goal in completely different ways, which I think is pretty amazing. And it's a reminder that there's a lot of design that can still be done out there with that kind of constraint. So I'm really impressed by all of our game makers and really excited about all of the games.
For us, this is like an exciting domain that, I mean, we love video games, and many of the games in No Quarter are video games. They're digital games, but they're designed with the presence of human people in a physical space in mind. And that's kind of a missing ingredient in a lot of games, is thinking about the context in which they're played. So No Quarter is a chance to really think about that context.
We have Tennnes by Willem who's half of Lambeer, creators of Super Crate Box. And that's a sort of loose simulation of tennis that's really just sort of weirder and wackier than probably any tennis game you've ever played.
So the game I made is called Guts of Glory, and it's a competitive food eating game set in the post-apocalyptic world. The game has actually been in my head for about 2 years now actually, since the global game jam about extinction. It came from this situation that I've been in where I've slowly been kind of carving out a career for myself. And as you do something like that, as you kind of become more well-known, you get more offers, and the offers are cooler. And basically the one resource that you're really managing is time. How much time you're going to put forth to these things, because most of them are pretty interesting, and you could do them all, but then you won't have any time to do something else. And as I was kind of thinking about what I was going to do for No Quarter, I realized that that kind of game would work really well as a competitive game, where you're trying to eat things that give you points, but they take a certain amount of time, and it would be, a kind of deck building or pool building game that I hadn't seen before.
So it's like it's a cooperative dance battle game. It's modeled off of old school b-boy battles in New York. The idea is that you have to dance with a partner in sync, and you're judged on 3 vectors on how creative you are, how intense you are, and basically how in sync you are.
It's kind of like a fighting game, like a full contact sport. Like the goal is you get this ball, and there's 2 players or 4 players, 2 teams of 2. The goal is to get the ball into the goal at the bottom of the screen. The first player's goal is on the right, the second player's goal is on the left, and you kind of just pick it up and you can run with it, and you smack each other around. It's kind of it becomes very chaotic very quickly, but there's also a lot of agility and motion. What I wanted to do was kind of set up a core and then churn through as much playtesting as I could possibly do before this event, No Quarter tonight. And hopefully, have something good to come out of it. It's kind of like a collaboration. I view it as a collaboration between myself and the playtesters. It's not so much like a designed artifact.
The game's called Drunk Dungeon. It's a party game for 2 teams. The teams are competing to explore a dungeon and capture the treasure that's hidden in the dungeon. The twist is that when everybody arrives, there is no dungeon. The teams need to work together to build the dungeon out of map tiles. And they get those map tiles as coasters when they order their drinks. Between the teams, they build a dungeon, there's treasure that they're trying to get to, they maneuver their piece through the dungeon that they build, and at the end of the game, the team with the most treasure wins. So if people are playing it right now, that continues to be terrifying. It seems to be going all right. The really difficult thing about it is that you may only have one moment of interaction with it. If you just get one drink, you've got one tile, you've got one chance to get your head around it and have a good play experience, and it's pretty hard to pull that off. You always find out things and have new ideas when you do it for real. So I think we're going to have some interesting questions about scale and length of game that will emerge today. I've had a bunch of people come and suggest different things. At the moment, the pieces that represent the team are just a drinks glass, which kind of felt appropriate, but a guy just came over to me and went, they should be like action figures and samurais and Godzillas and stuff, and that's pretty cool. Like, now I want to do it with those things, so that feels nice.
It's an opportunity for humans to interact with each other, which is what we do best. Let's be honest. That's what humans are about, and that's what games are about to a large degree. It's about human interaction. So that's No Quarter.